Hey, Virgo. How are my Virgo friends doing? I think I just had a bit of a brain fart there. Sorry. So, Virgo, happy March. How was February? Shout out to Gina. I love you. Gina is a very amazing Virgo friend of mine who was requesting that I place in the Virgo reading earlier than other readings. And I tried to do this like a few hours ago when I was recording Aquarius's reading. I had been thinking like, now is the time for Virgo. Now is the time for Virgo. But you know, the star card kind of popped out, and so I was like, no. So I guess it's more the time for Aquarius. But Virgo's been on my mind a lot anyway recently. Like, not only have I been seeing a lot of my Virgo friends, but I've been thinking on a Virgo level, actually, probably because they are rubbing off on me. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing to have, like, that very grounding element that you guys are really great at radiating. So this this organizational feel, the aspect of control that us air signs lack in, or that, you know, water signs have a hard time also doing, because then that means that they need to put their emotions on pause a bit. So what I want to say is that this is as much a month for Virgo, actually, as it is for Pisces. Now, isn't that funny? I'll explain why in a bit. But at first, let me talk a bit about Sun in Pisces and how and why the Sun being in Pisces is as important for everyone in the zodiac as it is for Pisces. So when Sun enters Pisces and we approach the end of a zodiacal year, before we start anew with Aries, the focus becomes on tying up the loose karmic ends that we have been pursuing in the last 12 months of our lives. And the way that astrology works is very cyclical and phasic. So the 6-month period is also very, very important. And as some of you also know, it's very interesting when we compare our own sun signs to the polar opposite of our signs. So say Aquarius's polar opposite is Leo. So it helps us to pay a lot of attention to how it is that Leo thinks and feels and expresses themselves, because what we lack in they have, and what they lack in we have compensated for. Likewise, though, it's very interesting for us to look at the astrological events that happen 6 months prior to what's going on now, because those events are also, in some respects, the complete polar opposite of events happening in the now. So while Sun is in Pisces, now 6 months ago, it was in Virgo. Did I get that right? Well, I was doing a lot of reading up on this, and so what I mean to say anyway, in a nutshell, is that we will be experiencing a lot of movement this month, movement forward. And where Virgo comes in is that, for once, actually, we're all going to be seeing the good side. Well, I mean, okay, this makes it sound like Virgo has like a darker side to them, and that we don't appreciate how it is that Virgo structures things. This is not true. What I mean to say is that whereas other signs tend to, again, struggle having this organizational and controlling element that Virgo typically embodies very naturally and organically, the rest of the zodiac this month is going to reap benefits from doing things the Virgo way. basically. So we have a lot to learn from how it is that Virgo structures their thoughts, and how it is that Virgo gets things done. And Sun being in Pisces is going to get things done for us in that way. Fix the things that can already be fixed. Clear out things that are ready to be thrown out. Because Virgo doesn't like to force things. Virgo likes to take care of things they know that they're going to have a 100% success rate in. That's what makes them perfectionists at the same time. Perfectionism comes when you are able to see what is right in front of you that can be perfected. Everything as tiny as straightening a line, or really coloring in between the lines perfectly and not missing a gap, is Virgo's strong point. So tying up the loose ends in this way to that effect is how Virgo is going to be helping everyone. So thank you, Virgo, this month for enlightening us with your ways. As it comes to your reading, that means you're going to be having a pretty smooth month. A very easy month, actually. Don't confuse this with not experiencing a lot of changes, because you will. It's just that rather than struggle accepting those changes, they will come a lot easier to you this month. That's what I mean by it being an easier month. So, like, if all these changes were to slap you in the face any other month, you would probably put a fence up, put a wall up, go into hiding and isolation and be like, no, I don't want change. Change is not cool. Change is not cool. Go away, change. You know, and you'll try to ignore it, whereas this month you embrace it. Why? Because it's fed to you in pieces. It's fed to you in puzzle pieces that you look at from a third perspective, and you're like, okay, I can rearrange these pieces to suit me. I can do this. I know I can. It's just a matter of approaching things from a different perspective, but you have less of a hard time doing this, and that's really nice. So we are really talking about law and order and structure, and actually actualizing these events, actualizing them. So these are things that you may have spent the last 6 months thinking about and being unable to wrap your brains about how it is that you are going to be implementing these changes that you have been craving for a very, very long time. And realizing that this extreme form of just keeping things mental, on a mental level, is not the way that you're going to be seeing any success. Because so long as you just keep tripping over the same things over and over in your head, but you're not actually doing anything about it out of fear of change, again, out of fear of the unknown, out of fear of introducing a new approach that you're not used to, that you're not getting anywhere with that. And it's kind of like a switch that occurs where you're just like, no, I need balance, and patience is the way that I'm going to get there as well. So temperance, that's weird. Temperance is here to tell you that it doesn't have to be black and white, and that a healthy balance between visualizing things mentally and actually implementing things physically is the way that you will find your peace, that you will find it is not as scary to venture out and be a bit of a risk taker and adventurous for once, even if this means starting over from scratch. So I'm just going to lower the screen now because the cards are a lot more interesting than me. With this Ten of Swords here, I'm not viewing this in a bad way at all. I'm not viewing this as like being unable to recover. Quite the opposite, in fact. I am viewing this in tandem with this Page of Wands, being that you are not going to give in to this state. And you're breaking free by being more carefree, actually, with this Page of Wands, where you're not going to allow yourself to succumb to fear and being dead on the shore because of this mental fear that you've been holding on to for a very long time, which is naturally coming to an end with this 10 here to start anew. And you're going to open yourself up to the infinite possibilities that your life after this point is going to be attracting. That is a lot of choices for change, a lot of opportunities to, in relationships, in career, and especially as it comes to emotions and valuing things or revaluing things, let's say, in the sense that you will reassign what, the worth of certain things is in your life. And that can, will make you appear maybe a bit picky, but you're allowed to be picky at this time. Oh, wow. Okay, so apparently I don't need to shuffle too much before the cards pop up. The thing is that you're not coming to these conclusions on your own. But again, that is the side of Pisces that is helping. So rather than, again, throw yourself into isolation and force yourself to deal with your problems on your own because you don't want to bother people around you with this stuff, you're going to select quite a few people, or you already are actually selecting a few people who you believe can help you through this journey, who can help you reformulate the way that you think, that will help you break the very toxic bonds that you've created with yourself, actually, over the last 12 months. The toxic bonds being the way that you've been thinking and the way that you've been holding on to materialism. This is a time of spiritual growth for you more than anything else. This is a time where you realize that no matter how far you can reach in your career, that is not going to be fulfilling for you. This Queen of Swords pops up here, urging you to sever the toxic bonds that you've created for yourself. And let me see if the camera is gonna... What? How does this work? Okay, so the order of events is this Queen of Swords approaching this devil. That's how I'm seeing it when I laid down the cards. Approaching this devil with her sword to sever this toxic bond that has occurred here. Now, I want to emphasize the importance of other people's roles in your life and in the life of pretty much everyone around you. So, earlier on in the Aquarius video, the Two of Cups popped up. And there I was talking more about a reunion with the self, a reunion between the divine masculine and the divine feminine, the animus and the anima coming together, basically. Reconciling this beautiful balance between male and female energies that don't necessarily have to manifest themselves in the form of a love in the physical world, but we talk more about a unification between your physical self and your higher soul self. So that was in the Aquarius video, and with this devil here, the toxic bonds that I am talking about are toxic bonds you've created between yourself and your higher soul. And by doing this, this has blocked your way of reaching your higher soul's purpose. What this Queen of Swords is trying to do is to sever this toxic bond that you may have created with your divine masculine or your divine feminine. So if you are a female watching this, then we're talking about detoxifying your bond with your divine masculine. And if you are a male watching this video, we're talking about detoxifying the role that you've established with your higher divine feminine self. Essentially, though, we should be an all-encompassing energy of both fields, of both male and feminine, of male and female. We all have this androgynous aspect of ourselves, and some of us may feel more female, some of us may feel more male, and some of us may feel 50-50 of both energies here. But in your case, I feel like you've lost yourself recently and you haven't been able to really figure out what it is that's been going wrong. You've created blocks in your awareness, and this comes down to fear. And this fear is being unable to come home. And this is coming home in the spiritual sense, which can only occur after you face your demons and a severing of these toxic bonds that we have all created for ourselves on the conscious plane. But I want to also draw your attention to having too much indecision in your life. If you are being approached with a lot of new opportunities, because this will be a very good month for you that way, where, by tying up the loose ends, you're able to create new opportunities for yourself and be presented with so many choices, though, that you kind of fall back on your nature of taking things slow and easy before you make up your mind. But again, the people in your life are there to remind you that now is the time to act. And by thinking more and more thinking, you're not necessarily going to be able to actualize things, right? So it's cool here that we have this really neat balance between the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands in this respect. So neither too slow and nor too fast. And with the Three of Wands, we talk about movement, we talk about virtue, which is really ironic because I was talking about virtue earlier on with a Virgo. And virtue here being patience. Patience and the calming of your senses. And trusting that you've put in the work already. And now you are to expect returns, right? It's a waiting period. I'm not saying don't put yourself out there and don't be active, but that before you do the internal work on yourself to resolve the issues of this devil card here, this Three of Wands isn't really going to show itself. Before you strike a balance between overthinking about how to turn an idea into a real scenario in your life, taking too much time there and not, just coming and going here. It's coming and going. Arriving at the destination that you need to arrive to. Without doing that, you can't fully manifest and reap the benefits and awards of your hard work. So we really are talking about balance this month. A lot of balance with this Temperance. And not being afraid to take a different approach. You will have people who will see you through this time, who will help you overcome this ugly feeling of utter despair here. That will ultimately lead you on your journey home. But you are very, very lucky this month. The Sun card is very beautiful and on your side here. And really will lead to a lot of love that you will end up experiencing for yourself. For yourself. Which is incredible. And I will recommend here that you watch out for the full moon. We have the new moon that's happening today in Pisces. But because this moon card has popped up here, I'll give you until mid-March. So I can't really remember the dates exactly, but I believe it was March 20th or March 21st, depending on your region, that the full moon is happening in. So around about the full moon, keep your eyes and ears and heart open to receive love and good feelings for yourself. For yourself. And this is lovely because, this is a card of Pisces, so. Allow your journey throughout this new moon in Pisces to be one of love. And by the time the full moon comes, I hope that you would have been able to accumulate the wisdom and knowledge of reaching out to others around you to gain their opinion and their feedback as to how it is that you can improve your circumstances, which are looking very good for you. Really good, actually. Virgo, I have to say. And there is really no indication here that you will be, you'll be falling into like a hermetic state at all, actually, which is why I'm saying this is the month where you really put yourself out there, which is not always easy for a Virgo to share their feelings, their thoughts with others, because again, you don't usually want to bother anyone with the way that you're thinking and feeling. But what I'm trying to say, Virgo, is that you are not bothering anyone. So don't worry about it. Cool. So Virgo, that was your reading for March. thank you so much for liking this video. Please do share it with your friends if you feel like it's going to help them in any way. Thank you for all the subscribes, and if you're new to my channel, I hope you've enjoyed this reading, and I hope to see you in the future. So, namaste. Bye, guys.